Hello everyone, welcome to the Armageddon Championship Series 2023, which is a pressure cooker of chess, which would even test the composure of Buddha. Now, I've been told I look a little bit like Buddha, not sure how to take that, but I'm Grandmaster Simon Williams, and I'm here with my great companion, International Master Jovanka Houska.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Buddha Simon, Grandmaster Simon. I mean, it's going to be such a fascinating day because it's Elimination Day. But yesterday, it was such a beautiful day of chess. We had Jan-Krzysztof Duda and also Rapport playing some fabulous chess to get through to the next stage in the upper brackets. Let's have a look at yesterday's recap. Day 4 started with a battle between the top-rated Jan-Krzysztof Duda and the teenager Vincent Keymer. In the first game, Duda with the white pieces played smoothly from start to finish and won the game with professional ease. The second game was rather more turbulent, with Keymer playing the opening aggressively. However, Keymer's attack vanished after some cool calculation from Duda, and soon, Duda netted another point to win 2-0.
The second match of the day saw Rapport versus Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. In a very heavyweight encounter, Rapport got the first novelty in the opening. This netted him a pawn. Then Maxime fought back hardly, but in the end he lost on time, unheard of thing in his games. The second game saw Maxime needing to win with the white pieces, but Rapport played very solidly and held on to a draw, progressing to the next round.
This is Armageddon Championship Series 2023, the ultimate chess showdown of the year. The first 3 tournaments have already finished. The Americas with finalists Wesley So and Sam Shankland. Asia and Oceania with winners Nordibek Abdusattorov and Gukesh. And a special qualifying stage, Women's Week, where Bibisara Asalbaeva and Humpy Kineru showed their best. And this week, our 4th tournament, Europe and Africa Regional Series.
8 of the strongest players compete for a spot in the grand final with a chance to win the Armageddon Championship. All our events are broadcast live from the World Chess Club Berlin on Unter den Linden. This is make or break. Who will make the cut and go through? Don't go anywhere. This is Armageddon. Time to have a look at the players which are left in the competition, and they are great players in this European and African leg. You can see 2 guys have been greyed out. It means they've gone home, they have left, they've been knocked out, and 2 more are going to join them today. Yeah, it is Elimination Day, as you say, Simon. And today there are 4 people who are fighting for their lives. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave there at the top, Vincent Keymer, Jorden Van Foreest, and also Alexander Donchenko. It's all a question of survival. That's right. Now we can have a look at the money that's on offer in this fantastic competition. You follow the line, and when you cross the line, you get to the next stage, and you see 4 players are fighting to get into the €5,000 mark there. And we have to mention our partner, the FIDE Online Arena, which hosts rated tournaments and games 24 hours per day. Join the arena, you get a FIDE ID, profile on FIDE.com, access to pro chess community, official online ratings and titles, all recognized by the International Chess Federation. There are prize money tournaments and so much more. So play official games at chessarena.com. That's right, and before we get cracking with the excitement today in this Elimination Day, we need to take a look at where people stand with our friendly bracket. And today we're dealing with that lower segment, all those highlighted games, and there's some massive games coming up. But the important thing to remember is everyone there has lost 1 match, so they can't afford to lose another match because they will be thrown out of Berlin, or maybe just the building. Well, we will say Auf Wiedersehen, Pet. And, well, here are the encounters we have lined up for you today. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave against Alexander Donchenko, and, of course, the creative Jorden Van Foreest against the very young 18 years old Vincent Keymer.
And we can have a look at our first match of the day. We have Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, the fantastic Frenchman, against Alexander Donchenko of Germany. Now, they've only played 2 games in classical chess. That's at a longer time limit. And Maxime has won one of those games, and the other one was a draw. So he has a slight lead. But the interesting thing is that they're both very exciting Sicilian players. So there could be a lot of blood, guts, all over the board today. We expect violence.
And talking about violence, here we have Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, who's famed for his aggressive play. Became a grandmaster at 14 years old. Check out this huge blitz rating, 2739. It's one of the best in the world. And he was also the winner of the 2021 World Blitz Champion. Fun fact, he likes to play the board game Avalon, a game of cunning and deceit. Will that help him? We'll find out when we hear from Maxime in his own words.
I'm quite an intuitive player, but at the same time I rely a lot on calculation. I know what I want to achieve, but still every move I cannot prevent myself from calculating once and once more every possibility I can think of. I'm also more of a practical player, I would say, so I enjoy much more playing on the chessboard than actually doing the studying parts, but of course it's necessary. I think what helps me the most is the resilience. So sometimes I'm down in chess or even in life, but whenever I feel down, I will find the strength to come back and to fight once more.
A real fighter is Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, and he's extremely hard to beat. And it's going to be a challenge for his opponent, the German player Alexander Donchenko. And Donchenko is only 25 years old, and he's the 3rd strongest chess player in Germany. He qualified for this event online. And let's hear a bit more about him in his own words.
Maybe the most important character trait to have is this drive to keep on fighting and believing that you can achieve the maximum result, even when either it's very hard or there might not even be a need for it. Because chess is not a dual result game, either win or loss. There's always the possibility to make draws, and sometimes a draw is also a good result. This makes it very hard sometimes to push yourself to take risks and to keep on playing when you know you could make a draw. You have a very solid event and you don't really need much else. But I think to really get those outstanding results, you have to, let's say, force yourself over that hurdle and keep on playing, keep on pushing when, let's say, most other players would not. I think the most important thing about my style is that I like to take some risks and make the games interesting, sometimes even to my own disadvantage, although I usually do not realize it. But this is the most important aspect that defines many of my games.
Yeah, it's going to be a great match, and we're getting close now to the start. Only 50 seconds to go, and let's remember it's 2 games of 3 minutes plus 2 seconds a move. And if it's 1-1 after those 2 games, we have
Armageddon, the crowd favorite. And this is 1 game without any time increment. White will have 5 minutes on the clock, black will have 4, but white is in a must-win situation. And talking about Armageddon chess, this is one of the most important people in the room, Anastasia Sorokina, women's international master and also international arbiter. She will be monitoring the players on the board, off the board, over the board, and around the board.
Everywhere the board is. And there's 6 seconds now from the start. We have Maxime with the white pieces. I'm expecting, like I said, blood, guts, sacrifices, pieces flying, pawns all over the shop, and we have a boring English opening. I'm only joking, it's not boring at all. It's a very good opening. I was hoping for a Sicilian, but this has been the most common opening so far.
You got your wish, Simon, because this might not be strictly the Sicilian, but it is something called the reverse Sicilian. White basically plays the Sicilian opening, but with that extra move.
That's right, and we now see it is actually quite a very similar position you get with colours reversed, but white has the extra tempo. This is a very popular and trendy opening where white actually gives space away. That's what makes it a little bit unique. Normally when you have the white pieces, you don't want to give space away, but in this position, white has the more central pawns, like in a Sicilian, and that could be very good later on. Both players playing pretty quickly here, and yeah, I think most top grandmasters have played this position at some point in their career. They're just developing their pieces, controlling the center, and getting their king safe at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And white's plan is relatively straightforward. He's going to put his rook on that open lane on the c line, and he's going to get ready to put a piece on the very important c5 square. So Donchenko, of course, he needs to anticipate this, and he needs to develop his pieces accordingly. And there you see him slide his rook, overprotecting the pawn, and maybe threatening to jump in with a piece into the center at the right time.
That's right, and this rook move also gives the bishop a square it can hide out on next to the king when it is attacked. Now, still a fairly common position here. One thing that Donchenko really sort of suffered from when he lost his first match was that he was getting great positions out the opening, but he was going wrong in the middle game. So he needs to up his middle game a little bit. He plays another little move here, giving his bishop another escape square, where that pawn's just moved from. The dark square bishop can hide over there if it gets in trouble. Remember, they're like long-range pieces, so he's got to decide, does it go left or does it go right? But they want to keep their range, and there you go. It hides out like a secret sniper there on the side of the board. It's still looking indirectly down at white's king, so it could be a very good piece, but Maxime just increasing the pressure on the open file. That where he's put the queen, there's an open line, there's no pawns in front of it, so you want to put your pieces that move in a straight line on these open lines.
Yeah, and it's a great move as well because it also ties down the activity of that knight sitting on the c6 square. That one can't move. Ideally, that would like to hop into the center. And Maxime says absolutely not. And these two are very cool customers because take a look at those two hearts there that are beating away, and we can see very normal, both of them around the 90-98 for Donchenko. When the players start feeling the heat, well, you will see their hearts, they will start flashing red.
That's right, and a very important factor nowadays for chess players is fitness. This is something that was a bit neglected in the past, but in current state of affairs, most of the top guys, they do spend a lot of time just improving their cardiovascular fitness because it's so important. And we now see the black knight come into a very nice position, but does white have the opportunity to grab a pawn? I don't think so, because the queen is attacking white's knight if the white queen runs away. So I kind of like what black's done here, and you can see the evaluation bar is also starting to like black a little bit. So again, Donchenko has done very well out of the opening. I mean, I don't think he could have wished for a better position against such a strong player as Maxime.
Yeah, and with the black pieces debut, I mean, this is just very nice stuff. You know, look at the queen parked there in the middle of the board. She can't be chased away easily. And what's even better about Donchenko's position is that he has a really straightforward plan. It's just to centralize the rooks, and it's just to relocate the pieces into better squares. And that's it. It's much more difficult for white to find a concrete plan of attack.
The more I look at this position, the more I actually really don't like what Maxime's done. I actually thought black could have re-maneuvered his knight there all the way around to where the black queen is. That would have been a very nice positional idea, but this is more aggressive. But the problem with white's position is that pawn in front of the white rook is stuck. It's what we call a backwards pawn. It can't really move. It's a target to black's queen and black's rook, and for the rest of the game, it really can't do anything. White's bishop, as Jovanka pointed out, horrible piece. He's only really got his knight that he can do stuff with. So positionally, white is in trouble.
Yeah, and you could just see with Donchenko's last moves, they looked like they were kind of really innocuous, but there was a lot of venom in them. Black was actually preparing to push pawns on the right side of the board, and now he's centralized that bishop. That is a beautiful bishop. It cannot be chased away whatsoever. And I'm expecting Donchenko at some point to step up with the king so that the rooks also have access to the king side as well. The knight has come in. There's target incoming on the f2 pawn.
This is a very aggressive approach from Donchenko. I don't know if he should have positionally basically got rid of his knight for White's bishop, because White's bishop was a very bad piece and the knight had a lot of potential. But this is an aggressive way to play. He might launch a pawn in front of his rook, and he has. He's going for the attack.
Yeah, now big decision. How is he going to capture that pawn? You know, I'm someone who really likes to push pawns, so I would instinctively exchange that pawn with my own pawn. What would you do, Simon? Double with the rooks? No. Okay, so he decides to take my approach as well.
I like this move because it takes away a square from the white knight. The white knight wanted to go into the middle of the board, but if it does now, the black pawn takes it. There's a check. The white queen diagonally attacking the king, and the king has to step out of that. And now the white knight coming the other way. I know the evaluation bar, it hasn't really changed, but to my eyes, I kind of think White has more chances now because the black king is also a bit exposed. It has no pawns in front of it. So if Black's advance does not work, it could backfire. They're getting shorter time as well.
I know. I mean, take a look at Donchenko. He's going to come close to the 30-second mark. And, you know, when the clock starts ticking down, the heart rate starts increasing. And there we see a trade of pieces. And, well, Donchenko offering a queen trade. I do feel that this would favor Black somewhat if he were to trade of queens.
But can the queen come in? It has.
It has.
Ooh.
Oh.
Does that work?
I know. And there we see a...
Could be a draw now. Could be a draw, because what happens if you repeat the position 3 times? The position is a draw, and the white queen is checking the black king, but the black king can always move somewhere. So they've repeated the same position, both sides of the board 3 times, and they agree a draw. I think that will be a result that actually suits both of them, because Maxime got quite a bad opening there, and Donchenko did have the black pieces, so he has white in the next game. Not a bad result.
Yeah, not a bad result. All's fair in chess, but I do feel that Alexander Donchenko will be slightly disappointed because he did have the better end of that draw, and maybe he could have done something more with his position. Maxime, of course, is one of the world's best players.
Yeah, it's very hard. Even when you get a slight advantage, you need to convert that into something a bit more. I think well, we'll have a look at some highlights now, and around about here, it looked like Black was doing very well. Look at that square that the queen moves onto, taking control of all of the center there with that queen, and that was such a good idea. The queen dominating White's position, and we talk about chess as a tactical game where you try to checkmate, but you've also got to build up the position. That's called positional chess. I didn't actually like this move so much. I think Donchenko could have gone for a slower approach. It was a very aggressive move, but now Maxime gets rid of his bad bishop, because that was a bad bishop because it was stuck behind his own pawns, and he got rid of it for Donchenko's good knight there. And here we see a very aggressive move from Donchenko, but this also left his king very weak.
Yeah, and these were the 2 things that allowed Maxime to escape with a draw. And we see Donchenko actually hesitate here before he does recapture with that pawn.
Yeah, he took with a pawn, and then the last important thing was the white queen infiltrating its way in, and Black just didn't have enough time to save his king. But the reason that White doesn't win this position is you can't really just checkmate with the queen. You need to have more army, more forces to checkmate. So had White had a rook in the position there, could well have been checkmate, but a queen, only a draw. 50 seconds until the next one.
I know, and of course the players will be playing with the colors reversed, and as it was a draw, anything can happen. Whoever wins this second game will continue to the next stage, and whoever loses will get booted out, as Simon likes to say. I put that on you.
Rumor has it they get their arm behind their back and pushed out the door.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how true that rumor is. And we have, of course, they don't. It's lovely here. Everyone's very nice. 20 seconds until the next game. And as Jovi said, whoever wins this game, if there is a winner, will go through, and the other player gets knocked out. I'm expecting their heart rates to be a lot higher here. Surely they're going to be nervous now.
Yeah, the stakes are so high, and we are 3 2-1. And the players shake hands and they are off. And Donchenko opening with his knight and adopting a very solid approach, primarily designed to avoid Maxime's specialty, which is the Grundfall defense.
And we have a symmetrical position so far, and this is an attempt from White to get a small advantage. It's all theory. White, with that last move, trying to gain space on the left-hand side of the board. And also, we have to remember, if this game is a draw, we have Armageddon. So it's going to have a winner, a progressor, sooner or later. Maxime now grabbing a pawn there. He's probably not going to be able to hold on to that extra pawn. And White now has the better center, but it kind of suits Maxime. He likes this kind of pawn structure. And when you're getting into the middle game, as they are, you need to try and get positions that you understand well and that you know the plans, where your pieces go, what pawns you should push, what you're trying to achieve, really.
Yeah.
It's always nice, isn't it, in life to know what you're trying to achieve. I always struggle with that one. I just drift around blindly. And here White goes to win the pawn back.
And there you see him developing the knight. And we do mention that Maxime has been playing this opening for donkey's years. I mean, he's very experienced here. I mean, you can't really trick him. So what Maxime is hoping to do is to use his experience with the pawn structure to know exactly where to put the pieces, as Simon indicated. And talking about where to put the pieces, we see breakout immediately. There's no success without any pawn breakthrough. And Maxime looking to neutralize White's position immediately.
I want to break free. That's our first song of the day. And Black now finishing his development. White moving his knight back. It looks very even to me at this moment in time. It also depends which bishop in front of the king, the fianchetto bishop, is going to be more powerful. White's bishop looks a little bit better to me, especially if Black now goes pawn takes pawn and allows the White knight to get out of the way of the bishop. But White does have a problem with his other bishop, the bishop on the dart squares. What's it doing there? Not a great deal at the moment. So they should cancel each other out, I feel.
Yeah.
Those two.
Talking about cancelling each other out, I mean, both the players at that, exact moment you said those words, had 102.
Wow.
And now there's a small discrepancy with Maxime managing to calm it down to 99 and Donchenko moving up to 106.
They do seem to have very good heart rates. I have to say, both of these players, we saw Rapport's rating is to get really high. What's this? We have some weird tactics here.
This is weird stuff, right, from Maxime. Why did he allow this trade? I mean, he's voluntarily ruined his pawn structure, and he's doing it to try to win material. But I don't like it because he's giving White, like, a bishop pair and also great structure.
Yeah, very interesting idea, but look at Black's pawns now. Black's pawns do look quite ugly, and Donchenko is swapping off queens here just to make it a little bit simpler to avoid any tactics. Black flicks in a check in the position, and now what does White take that with? Because there could be a bit of a problem with his king if a Black rook gets down to that first rank. We call it the first rank. Imagine a Black rook coming all the way down to attack the Black king. We could see this actually happening quite soon.
Yeah, and there we see the bishop capturing that knight.
And now will the Black rook come in and check?
Yes.
It has. And this was something I was worried about for Donchenko, because that's a very active rook. I don't know if you can block this check with your rook. When you're in check, 3 things you should do as a beginner: see if you can take the piece that's attacking your king. Number 2, see if you can block the check. And lastly, see if you can move your king out of it. You can't do any of those 3. You're in checkmate.
I think he has to. He's absolutely forced to block that rook check with his own rook, because if he steps up with the king, I mean, he's never going to get out that dart squared bishop.
Yeah, I agree. I think he has to move his rook back. Will he find this move? He's spending a lot of time here. And let's remember, either player wins this one, they are through. The tension is getting higher and higher here as the game develops. He's thinking for a long time. He can't be thinking about moving the king. Is that actually a move? No, he's found the right move.
Yeah, he has found the right move. I mean, he just had to coolly work out that Black doesn't have any dangerous discovered checks with that knight. And the knight does centralize itself, but again, Where is white going to put the king? Do you move it towards the center? Do you try and hide it away behind its own pawns? Decisions, and not so easy when you have less than 50 seconds on the clock.
I think this is the right move, but black is getting very active with his pieces. It's kind of a bit of a trade-off between white's better pawn structure and black's better pieces. Now the rook can come in, a big check there. The king has to go in the corner, but can black improve his pieces anymore? If black can't improve his pieces anymore, it might be white who takes over this game. But Donchenko down to 45 seconds left, so he's got to speed up, and black grabs a pawn there, but this allows the white rook to get into the game.
And well, Maxime playing very accurately there, because his king was also in danger. But there's a problem, and the problem is that pawn there on a7, that's a target.
Yeah, black's pawn on the left-hand side of the board could be picked up, and I also think the two bishops can be very powerful in the end game. We are now, I'd say, in the end part of the game. This is where it's going to get so tense here. Black moving his bishop back into a central square, and now white bringing his bishop back. He's trying to go for a draw there, white. I think that was a bit of a negative move.
I think he really, yeah, I actually think that he wanted to trade off bishops so that he could target that. Oh, but now we're going to see it. So the bishops are going to get swapped off, and then he's going to go for the plan of targeting that a7 pawn.
And Maxime, just thinking if there's some checks here, because you can move the rook in and you can move the knight in, and that knight is actually quite a nice piece at the moment in time. The white king not entirely safe there. That's a beautiful move, and I don't know if Maxime should have allowed this one. The rook now has to get out of dodge. The white king feeling a bit safer, and now the knight has to move as well. So it's still very much in the balance. Keep an eye on the clock. The black knight trying to pick up another pawn there. I think I'd prefer to be black here. The knight is very tricky, but it's very complex, this position.
Yeah, I am actually really liking Donchenko's position. I think there's a lot of danger here, because he has to preserve that bishop, and look at that pawn on a5, 3 squares from queening, and I think Maxime is in big trouble.
I agree. Look at that pawn on the left-hand side of the board. We've seen it happen so many times. We've seen a pawn become a queen. It's 2 squares away from queening. If that pawn can touch down, it will win the game. Can Donchenko just push the pawn, Donchenko? Push it.
He does.
And he pushed it.
And there he has so little time on the clock. Just 10 seconds. And Maxime fighting for his life here.
Yeah, that pawn is so close. And the bishop, a great move there, I feel, trying to support the pawn. If somehow white can get his bishop to support that pawn, it will be game over. I'm not sure the bishop's going the right way. And look at the heart rates. Donchenko feeling the nerves here.
Yeah, he's feeling the pressure, because he knows if he manages to get that pawn to touchdown, he will go through to the next stage. And, well, Maxime, 20 seconds. Oh, is Maxime actually gonna play very aggressively and try and hunt down the white king? And we're gonna see the king come up to, okay, comes to the middle.
And white's trying to bring his king over to the left-hand side, but 3 seconds on the board. The king shuffling over to try and help that pawn. It's oh no, he's blundered.
He's blundered.
Donchenko has lost his bishop. Oh my words. And black is now a whole knight up. Knights, they're so tricky in blitz. They jump all over the shop. They're mischievous little things, and now white needs a miracle to not lose this game. Look at that knight. It's just collecting everything. Munchy, munchy, munchy. It's a very hungry knight, that one. Munching away. And it should be Maxime's game, but you've still got to deal with that pawn. It's not completely over yet.
It's certainly not over. Big trick on the board. White is threatening to just interrupt that. Oh, and that's why you see Maxime just panic and take that pawn.
And black now has all of these pawns. They're coming down the board. Those are the space invaders. And if you get one of them to the other end, you win the game. And I don't think white will be able to stop them. Can he get his rook behind them? I don't think it's going to work in time. No. Look at those pawns go. Look at them go. 1 square away from queening. And now the knight could come back there and win.
Handshake.
And
Ooh.
what a game that
What
was.
a roller coaster of a game. Completely unexpected. It looked like it was going to be a fairly even end game, and then suddenly it all turned around, and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave progressing to the next stage, and sadly we do say goodbye to Alexander Donchenko.
Yeah, Maxime in his video earlier on did mention how resilient he was, and he had to be resilient there because it looked like he had a very bad ending, and he used his knight to trick Donchenko. The knight was just jumping around like a complete loony, wasn't it, all over the shop, but in the end the knight won White's bishop, and that was enough to win the game. Donchenko will be kicking himself for not converting that advantage. And
it was a golden opportunity, and here we see the flurry of trades that actually led to Donchenko getting a very good position.
That's right, and he had the two bishops going into the ending, Donchenko. We can have a look a bit further on with that rook now of Black's coming in, and this is where Maxime started to get a bit of activity when he moves this rook down with a big check, but around this part Donchenko played very, very well. He got rid of the activity of Black's pieces, and he started to use that pawn on that side of the board, and it looked very scary, didn't it, around here?
Yeah, and
what a check that was.
Yeah, that was a great check, and oops, there we see Donchenko lose a bishop, and with it the game.
Yes, and that was really the losing blunder there. That bishop, when it went, then there was nothing that White could do, and you saw Donchenko shake his head a little bit there, realizing that he had blundered. And at the end here, those black pawns, they just roll down the board, and there's nothing that White can do to stop those pawns. So it's end of the game here, and you can see as soon as you get pawns the other end, you get a queen. There's nothing that can be done, and there you go. A queen will occur on the next move there. So, yeah.
And we are going to go to Sonia, who has an interview with Alexander Donchenko.
So we're here with Alexander Donchenko. You just lost your match. How do you feel?
Honestly, I'm still kind of in the games that I played. I don't know, it didn't register yet, but still I'm actually... I'm sorry, no, it's just... I know that it shouldn't matter so much, but I thought actually I was playing really well, and it's just disappointing to lose in such a way, because I could obviously take a draw in the second game if I wanted to.
Any key moments you remember?
I mean, in the first game I felt that I actually came out a little bit ahead in the opening, and the game was quite comfortable for me. In the end I decided to force a draw because I didn't want to gamble on the time scramble, but the second game was more topsy-turvy. I'm not sure what was going on there. I think I might have been worse, especially if I felt like knight g4 instead of knight d5 after all the exchanges was more dangerous. But after that I felt I played quite well and probably got an advantage. I thought I had a chance to somewhere push for, let's say, to actually promote my pawn, but probably I just missed it in time trouble, and the game should end in a draw after that, but I just blundered a piece, and okay, that's what it is.
Okay, the tournament is over for you. What's next?
I have probably about a week of rest, and then I play my next tournament in Dortmund. It's an open event, and I'm one of the favorites, and I hope to do well there.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you so much, and best of luck in the next tournament. We are going back to the studio with Simon and Jovanka.
Thank you, Sonia, and it's a great pleasure to have with us in the studio Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, and whew, that was quite the match. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling relieved, more than happy, because I feel like I didn't play at my best, and I could definitely have lost this match, both in game 1 and game 2. So, but then somehow I managed to gather myself, create counter chances, and it paid off when Alex blundered that bishop.
Yeah, but tell us about game 1.
Yeah, I mean, I decided to go for this English opening, but just randomly, like I didn't want to prepare too much today, and yeah, this position I never quite managed to get the position I want to, and then it was very uncomfortable when with bishop f5 Alex more or less forced me to play e4. My initial plan was knight h4, but then there's knight d4
Right.
and the jumps. So then I had this uncomfortable d4 square, and it was looking like some trouble, but I managed to create just enough counterplay to make a draw.
Were you happy to get the draw at that point? So
I mean, I wouldn't say I was happy, but objectively I should be.
yeah.
And then you had this first game that was presumably where you were feeling quite relieved, but then you had less than a minute to kind of compose yourself, get ready for game 2.
Yeah, that's business as usual. Actually, I like when you don't get too much pause in between blitz, because you get to immediately refocus, like not lose time thinking about what ifs.
Yeah.
So I wish every blitz tournament was like this. Like you get 30 seconds, 1 minute, and you're back in business.
Yeah, just keep playing.
Yes.
All the time. So yeah.
And that game was actually very interesting from the start, like with this Harry push.
Harry, yes. Harry, not Harry, but Harry. And we can see your heart rates here as well. It looked pretty calm until sort of later on, when we got to 139. But not too bad. That's not too high.
Yeah, it's higher than I've been used to, but it's maybe for the best, because I know that yesterday my highest was 107, and
Right. Yeah.
that's sign that maybe I was too relaxed, and you need a little bit of tension, a little bit of nerves to perform in this blitz.
Yeah.
And talking about nerves, did you feel nervous at all in the second game?
In the second game, definitely. Like at first, I thought I was like I had got off quite nicely with my position, and then I completely missed Alex move king g1, which forced my rook back, and then I lose an important tempo because I wanted with knight e3, which I should have done earlier. And then, I mean, if I wanted to do that, like I might as well not have repeated moves, but then he got the a pawn, and somehow I felt like this pawn should be promoting, but Alex didn't find the right way. And then with my knight on d5, I was just able to consolidate, up until there was this fork.
Yeah, that was probably a bit of a relief when you played that fork there, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like I'm already better at that point, because my king is either coming to the queen side to collect the pawn on a7, or simply coming to the king side, like maybe collect the pawns, and maybe by the point white promotes, and already my pawns are marching
Down the boards, yeah. And we actually have the bracket now, so we can see whereabouts you stand in the tournament, and we can try to work out who you play next. But
we don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
First I know.
It's between Jorden Van Foreest and Vincent Keymer. You've obviously played these two. So who do you prefer, just in terms of style?
Oh, I really don't care. Like I've been playing with Jorden quite a lot.
I see you normally play with him after the rounds in the lovely bar here.
Exactly. So out of solidarity, and if only for the fact that I picked him as the eventual winner, probably I should be rooting for him. But honestly, it doesn't matter. Like Vincent is also a great player. I mean, maybe even more for youngster.
But when you play someone for such a long time, isn't there a danger that they can figure out your style and your weaknesses?
Yeah, well, at this point, it's true that Vincent I haven't played that much against, but I've been used to playing all the top players, and I probably have more than 100 games against a few of them, and maybe more if we count online games. So.
You have good practice against everyone.
Basically, yes.
I think it was quite funny. I think I heard Jorden, because you had to write down who you thought was going to win the tournament, and he said he was going to write your name down, but it was too long, so he wrote Duda's name down.
Yeah, well, being practical, I know. But I made the effort, and I wrote down his name.
Yeah, okay, that's very nice. And
just because I thought everyone was going to pick Duda, so.
Yeah, well, it's good. And a nice relief then. And are you going to relax a bit now until the next round, or what are you going to do?
I'm guessing next round is probably tomorrow. I'm not sure.
It is tomorrow.
Yeah. So, there's time to relax, like in the evening. In the morning, I put in a little bit of sports session, but other than that, I'm trying to keep it low. Maybe a good work outside as well, but that's about it.
Right.
Well, thank you.
Now I'm gonna follow the match between, to know who I'm facing tomorrow.
Good idea, Maxime. And thank you very much for joining us in the studio.
My pleasure.
And good luck in your next match.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well done.
And time to mention one of our partners, IT.com Domains, one of the official partner of the Armageddon Championship Series. It's a domain registry like no other. It provides a platform for anyone to create innovative domains and effectively showcase their online presence. Don't miss this opportunity. Visit IT.com today and create your unique online image.
Yeah, so we're going to get to the second match very shortly now. A very exciting first match there, and it's going to be a real roller coaster, I feel, this next one, because you have Jorden Van Foreest versus Vincent Keymer, and these are two really young and brilliant talents here, and I don't know which way this match is going to go.
No, actually they've played 3 games, all classical, and Jorden actually has won 1 game, and the others have been 2 draws. So interesting clash of styles.
Certainly, and we can have a deeper look at their stats now, and let's start with Jorden, and they're both young players. Jorden is the second strongest chess player in the Netherlands. Not sure who the strongest is. No, I am. It's obviously Anish Giri. And a brilliant player. He's also won the Wimbledon of chess, Wakan Z, which is a tournament every professional wants to win. So he's clearly capable. Let's hear a bit more about him in his own words.
I like to play dynamic chess. I like to get complicated games and just fighting chess in general. I don't like to play end games and stuff as much. I want to keep all the pieces on the board, just go for the throat, and just in general, the more complex and complicated position, the more I like it. In life, I guess I'm pretty easygoing and open-minded person. I'm always open to learning new things, and I guess it also helps on the chessboard. So I'm always open to learning new strategies or tactics to outsmart the opponent, and I never stick to one particular set of strategies. Yeah. Maybe naturally I'm more artistic, but I learned to become more scientific and more professional as I became a better chess player, I guess. So, for example, I don't always want to win style points. Now I focus on winning the game rather than winning in style.
Yeah, one of the most creative players in the world, but he will be up against Vincent Keymer, who is just 18 years old. He became a grandmaster at, get this, 14 years old, and also the strongest chess player in Germany. And last year, he also got second place at the World Rapid Championship. Very big achievement. And let's hear more from Vincent Keymer himself.
I have a rather strategical kind of style, I would say, from my childhood, which now changed a bit since when you improve your chess and you get to a higher level, I think you need to become much more of an all-rounder. You can't really accept to have some kind of strengths or weaknesses, which is why I, of course, also try to, get good in everything, but I think that's kind of where I came from. If you have a tournament that's coming up rather soon, you will try to relax. Then, of course, there are some preparation, some training camps, whatever. There are a lot of chess tournaments, which means that there's always, you need some relaxation time. Spend some time apart from everything with chess, meaning cycling, meeting with friends, something like that. I can stay calm in rather difficult situations, which can be very important for chess, as well as being able to probably push the limits, because you need to work really a lot, and you also need to give you everything during tournaments, sometimes even more than you might think you can, and that's something I think really helps me.
Yeah, this is going to be a real nail biter, this one. We've got two young and brilliant players. You've got the #1 player from Germany against the ever-creative Jorden Van Foreest. And we're getting close to the start now. Only 43 seconds until they kick off. Place your bets. Who are you going to go for? Who do you want to win? You've got to pick a favourite to make it a little bit more exciting. We're not really allowed to here because we get in trouble, but you guys at home can do that in our beautiful studio. And, well, maybe I can ask you, Jovanka, who do you think's going to win?
Are you trying to get me into trouble, Simon?
Always,
yes.
Yeah.
So. I think this one's going to be close. I think we're probably going to see our first Armageddon of the day.
And who's going to win, Jovanka? Come on, don't pick your... Don't, you've got to pick, so you've got to pick one of them.
The clock is going to win.
Who's going to win?
The clock.
The
chess is going to win. 3, 2, 1, and that's it. Handshake, and they are off. And there we see Jorden opening with the King's Pawn, and it is a Caro-Kann defense from Vincent Keymer. Incidentally, this opening is my personal favorite, and the last time they played this, actually, Jorden won that game with the white pieces. So is Jorden going to copy that exact line that he played? We'll see.
Interesting to see their heart rates because Jordan's is starting in the red zone. And Maxime made a good point. He actually pointed out that it's probably good to have a bit of a higher heart rate because you want to get into the zone. You need to be a little bit excited here. And this is a very sharp variation. I think it leads to some potential ending very quickly where white might have a very small advantage, but I don't think it's supposed to worry black.
No, it doesn't worry black at all. I have bad news for you, Simon. I mean, in the hands of the right person, this is all being worked out to
Really?
a draw. Yeah, in the hands of the right person. There's always room for error. And okay, and now we see Jorden mix it up a bit because you are meant to head into an endgame, and instead he's decided to give a check. And
Okay, well, it's a very
now this
interesting
one is very
position.
interesting because, of course, black is a piece up, but take a look at black's king. Ooh, shaky, shaky, shaky.
Yeah, both their heart rates high, but it is a very interesting position on the board. Black has that extra knight, so if black can consolidate the knight, not get checkmated, then he'll probably win this game. But as Jovanka pointed out, the black king is really exposed there. Let's imagine white castles. White gets a rook lined up against the black king. The black king could be in a lot of trouble. So Vincent has to be very well prepared here. Jorden, I think, has done his homework because he's moving quickly. His heart rate's 153. Do you know this position? Jovanka, being an expert in this open?
Yeah, I have to say, I've never seen this before in my life. So I would also be walking with a lot of trepidation here.
And this last move seems very peculiar to me. The queen going away from the action. The queen not attacking black's king, but Jorden plays it. Look at his time. Jorden hasn't spent any time, so this might be a bit of his preparation. Is he? He could be gambling here. He could be like, I know this line's not very good, as the evaluation bar is in black's favor, but I don't think my opponent Vincent is going to find the right moves in this time limit. It could just be a gamble. Sometimes a gamble can pay.
I know, and well, you know, they do say fortune favors the brave, and just take a look at the heart. Whoa. Okay, and we just saw a check there, and now the rook centralized itself, and Jorden still hasn't used any time on the clock. And what I wanted to say is, like, both hearts are flashing red. We saw Jorden there starting off with 142 now. I think it means he's excited.
Yeah, I mean, I think it means he's getting his preparation in. The more I'm looking at this, the more I'm thinking, oh, well, I think white has done his homework. He's probably prepared this exact position, but maybe not up to this last move before the game. And I've got a feeling that Vincent could be in a lot of trouble. Just look at the black king. I think this is a case of brilliant preparation before the match. Let's remember, this is high-level stuff. Like a battle, you've got to think where you want to put your troops, what you want to do before you get on the battlefield. If you go in there blindly, you're going to struggle. And Jorden has done his homework. The black king is so weak. All he needs to do is get his bishop and his other rook attacking the black king. I really don't like this black at all, this position.
Yeah, I really don't like it either. And one thing that also worries me is, take a look at the clock balance. Is, you know, Vincent Keymer just over 30 seconds. Jorden Van Foreest, he's like barely used any time on his clock. That's so worrying. And as you mentioned, it's so easy for white to initiate a plan of attack. It's just to develop the dark squared bishop. Anywhere will do. I'm thinking put it on f4 and then get the rook into the game.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, a decisive result this game, because white's either going to checkmate or black is going to weather the storm to keep his king somehow from being checkmated and then convert his extra troops, his extra knight, into a win in the ending. So the pressure is kind of on Jorden a bit more now, because if he doesn't checkmate the black king, he will lose this game. So he's now got to think of a concrete way to actually do things. I like the idea of bring the bishop in, get another piece attacking, but I'm not actually sure about his last move, that check. I thought he could have played maybe a rook move, attacking the black queen on the last move, because it seems like the white queen might be a little bit misplaced now. What's he going to do? He's having a long think here, using his time.
Yeah, he is having a long think, and we just saw the evaluation bar to the right just take a sudden surge, so it's been crunching the numbers and saying, okay, well, white has a great continuation here. And some things that white has to be careful of is they cannot allow the queens to get traded off the board. And now, well, Jorden is determined to just play with the queen and rook.
I like this move, though. I think this is a great move because it threatens to come from the other side, switching angles there, but also it supports a square for the white rook. The white rook in the corner now has a move, and well, here it comes with a check. Is that queen going to sneak its way in? Yeah. It does. A little check there. The black king, very exposed. But what do you do next? Is he going to check again? Or is he going to move the rook one way? He's got 1 minute to work this out. Vincent has just got to move his king and defend.
Well, Jorden is repeating moves twice just to find out whether his opponent is happy with the draw, or maybe just to build some extra time on the clock. And now Jorden is ticking to
love this move.
The minimum.
I wanted to suggest this move. This is a brilliant idea, magical idea there. This is offering a piece, but he's trying to get his other rook into the middle of the board. That is one of the moves of the tournament so far. I don't know if it works, but it's a fascinating move.
Well, also Vincent doing great things as well. Offering it. Oh, it was a blunder by Vincent. And now he's lost the rook.
And the problem with this is the other rook will come in and maybe he's not winning. Well, it looks very good for white at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that the knight is the only piece that's active, and all that white has to do is just activate the pawns and line up those two rooks on the bottom row, and it's game over.
Yeah, materialistically, black is doing okay here, but black can't get his rook or his bishop into the game. And this is the problem. Jorden still has to play very carefully to convert this, but that was the move of the tournament. Maybe the move of the whole competition that I've seen. That bishop flying out earlier on. What a move that was. Absolutely amazing. And there's still a lot of pressure. A little check there, and the other rook comes in.
Yeah, it is going to be resign time, and black's position is just going to crumble. And is there any way to keep the game alive? I'm expecting Jorden just to give a check to the black king, and no, instead he just concentrates on pushing his pawns. Come on, push the A pawn.
Ari, the A pawn, and this is the pawn on the left-hand side on the A file, and I think that's all he needs to do. He's just got to be accurate. He does not want to give this away, and that could be a brilliant move there, because he could have try to push his pawn on the next one. It's going to be checkmate. Next move. We have checkmate on the boards.
Yeah, the king is toppled.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Vincent.
Yeah.
What a game that was.
I mean, what a piece of opening preparation from Jorden. You know, he's sacrificing a piece, manages to get Vincent an unfamiliar territory, and Jorden taking that point with the white pieces, and now Vincent is in a must-win situation. But wow, that game was just incredible for Jorden, and I can't get over those moments of brilliancies.
Yeah, it's a brilliant game, but I mean, we'll have a look at the highlights here, and Jorden gave up a piece at the start of the game, but now he uses his rook really well there, attacking the black queen, and the black king was very weak, but it was a move a little bit later on which has to be the move of the series so far, because it looked kind of impossible. And look at this brilliant move. The white rook is attacked, so a normal human would move the rook, but no, he moves his bishop into an attack as well. I mean, that is a sign of brilliance, that one. Absolutely.
I mean,
stunning.
the great thing about that move is it induced a blunder from Vincent. You know, he tried to simplify the position trade of queens, but that move was no good. And once Jorden got into this particular position, he was just relentless.
Yeah, that clearly was just a brilliant game.
Yeah.
One of the best. And Vincent there, I feel a bit sad for him because he didn't really get out of the opening. Sometimes if your preparation before the game is not good enough, you won't be able to survive. And we see it ending in checkmate with a lovely checkmate on the board. The black king there is completely trapped. The white rooks and the pawn just surrounding it in a beautiful checkmate. But it is now Vincent's time to try and make a comeback. So he's got the white pieces. He should be able to surprise Jorden now, and he's just got to get out of the opening better than he did in that last game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he has to stick to his plan. He just has to play good normal chess, keep the tension, make sure that all the pieces remain on the board, and easier said than done, because Jorden will be looking to simplify. And there we see the players. They are locked in thought. They are planning out their strategies. We are less than 20 seconds. So do you think Vincent will be able to get that comeback win and take the match to Armageddon?
I think there's a good chance. I mean, I think Jordan's got to calm down after that brilliant victory. When you have a great win like that, you're kind of riding high, but you've got to ground yourself and you've got to bring yourself back down from the stars. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Grab yourself, get grounded, and get calculating. Don't wallow, or should I say the opposite of wallowing. Don't congratulate yourself too much. Okay, we see another English, and we see here, well, this is actually a bit of a Reti system into a d4 queen's pawn opening, and Jorden played this earlier on in the competition against, I believe, Matthias, and that game he managed to win, I think, in the end, or it's a draw. So he clearly likes this system, and it's a very solid system for black. Let's remember, black only needs a draw to progress.
Yeah, and he's played an interesting move, actually shutting out his light squared bishop, and there we saw Vincent try to see space there on the queen side, and Jorden saying, not gonna have any of that. But I have to say, I really like White's position. I think White has a very comfortable advantage, but is it enough to nurture something bigger? We'll find out. And talking about the pressure, I mean, take a look at those heart rates. Vincent beginning the game with 122 and Jorden 135.
Yeah, they're going up, and I think this is the kind of position that Vincent will very much enjoy playing. In the first game, we saw a Jorden position, crazy, a bit wild, but Vincent has said himself that he likes positional chess, and he's been coached by the great Peter Leko, who is known for his positional chess. And this is one of those ones where you just have to grind. You play it little by little advantages as you go along. You won't get anything immediate, but you can use that extra space. So
yeah.
Vincent must be happy so far.
Yeah, and okay, some things you do have to do is you have to anticipate those breakout moves, and so that's why we see Vincent capture those pawns in the middle. Now the tension has dissipated in the center. Now White is able to, I was gonna say, lift some pawns on the right side of the board. No, okay, he captures the knight. I wasn't expecting that.
A nice positional move, I think, because that knight was going to jump into a beautiful square, and that shows Jorden's class there, I think, by just knowing what pieces to exchange. Valuation bar doesn't agree, of course, but maybe he should have gone for your plan, Jovanka, I don't know, but I still think this is a Vincent position.
It is.
I mean, look at Black's bishop. Black's bishop is feeling like a Wally. It's just there, stuck behind two pawns, thinking, what am I doing with my life? Where am I going to go? I shouldn't have been in this job. I should have been doing something else. I'm stuck behind these pawns here. And that bishop, it needs to come to life. So, so far, I think the Wally bishop gives White a good edge here.
I like that voice that you put on there, Simon.
That's my normal voice, Jovanka.
Can we see more of it?
The Wally Bishop.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Jorden is trying to ensure that bishop is not a dunce anymore. And there you see he is lining up to break out in the center with that c-pawn push.
And white bringing his pieces around towards black's king here, and the black king is a bit of a target. Maybe I push the Harry pawn next, and there could well be a white knight that jumps in towards black's king at the right moment. Knights and queens, they coordinate so well together in the attack. So Vincent doing a very good job so far. The heart rates, they're in the red, but as expected, they're not reaching the Ricard Rapport's levels quite yet of 160. What do you think your heart rate would be? I reckon I'd probably top the records if I was in this.
Okay, and I'm just making that gasp because suddenly, did you see that evaluation bar? Just
Knight F5 wins on the spot. Knight F5 wins the queen. Boom! Will he see it? If he found it. Boom! Winning the queen. This is a beautiful tactic. If the pawn takes the knight, you can go queen check. And then, okay, well, maybe black can block with a knight, but you can't move the king. He has to play this, and the black king is so exposed now.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, black's position is just going to fall apart like a house of cards. Okay, he captures that pawn, but, ooh, this is unpleasant. Queen takes pawn check. King has to hide itself in the corner, and... oh, look at that. Jorden has fallen for that trick once. Maybe he'll fall for it twice. White is now threatening to play knight takes pawn there on f7.
Black's position completely collapsing here. It is the white knight is just threatening to check the black king, and then the white queen will take the black queen. Imagine the white knight is not on that square. White could go queen takes queen. So this is what we call a sort of get out of the way tactic.
Yeah.
And you want to get that knight out of the way. Can black survive? Oh, I don't know if he can. White surely not repeating for a draw.
No, he can't.
I think this is just the winning move. Where does the black king go? It has to come here. Don't move your kings forwards. It's not a good idea.
No.
You don't want to do this, but you've got no choice. We're heading towards Armageddon.
No.
If Vincent can hold it together.
It really felt like Groundhog Day there for Jorden. Because, he kept falling for that trick again and again.
Poor old Jorden. So,
yeah.
Vincent's still got to win this game. At the moment, it's equal on material, but he has all the positional advantages. He has a good knight. He has an active queen. His rooks are good. The black king is basically a bit bizarre there. It shouldn't be running around the middle of the board. Imagine a battle while the king came out of his castle and started running naked through the battlefield. It would not be a pleasant sight. The king has to move towards the center, but is there okay, the queen now comes in. Can Jorden defend this somehow? He's doing the best job he can at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, with what he's been given, I think this is the best he can do, but ultimately, I mean, black's king is so weak, and there goes another pawn. I mean, the question is, should Vincent be tempted by the lure of material, or should he play for something more? No, he grabs that pawn.
With a check as well.
With a check, okay. But the black king at least has a safe haven now. It's been chased around the board enough.
Yeah, I mean, black's not getting checkmated anymore, and black's not losing his queen. So Jordan's doing the best job from a bad situation. And the position is diabolical for black because white's a pawn up, but Vincent might be getting nervous now. Look at his heart rate. It's creeping up a little bit more. And he now knows, hang on a minute, I thought I was winning this game easily. Jorden should not be sitting here anymore. He's surviving.
Yeah.
How is my opponent surviving? And he might be getting a bit frustrated with his play. Look, he's retreating his pieces. I'm not sure I like the way this game is going because somehow it strikes me that Jorden is doing okay.
Yeah, and what's extremely worrying for Vincent is take a look at the clock. You know, he's playing with just 14 seconds there, and Jorden has a very safe position, and now he has a very straightforward plan. It's just to line up those two rooks on the h-line, and oh dear me, there are tricks at here, because if you grab material, then the rook will slide over to h7, and that is dangerous. And there it comes.
very sharp position. The white rook comes in, but the evaluation bar is indicating that black has a win here.
The queen can come into the center. Okay, he steps forward with the king.
Where is the win though? And now it's white who's winning. Now white is completely winning. It seems like it's toing and froing. Black missed the win there somehow. And now, is there anything that white can do? Remember, white, if he wins, it goes to Armageddon. This is just going all over the shop. And is the evaluation bar going to stay there? And it's gone back in black's favor. Schizophrenic evaluation bar all over the place there, up and down. He comes in with a check. Is there a move that's going to win the game? He checks again. And now the black queen can come in. They're moving so quickly here.
They are moving so quickly, but that is a great move from Jorden. And whoa, the tricks are aplenty, because now white is threatening to give checkmate to the black king. But there is Jorden with a very nifty check. Now, where is white going to put the king?
This is a crazy game. These two are living up to the bill, and all that black needs to do is get a draw. So he only needs to get what we call a perpetual check. Keep checking the king, and it will be a draw. And I think he's got the draw here. He's got the draw. He's repeated the position 3 times. I have no idea what's going on that game. That just went absolutely bonkers. Jorden somehow does a Houdini. He should become a magician after that game. Buy a lottery ticket. You're bound to hit jackpot with that draw there. He was completely busted. I mean, just get a lottery ticket is my advice to Jorden.
Someone was smiling on Jorden tonight, because that second game just showed that Jorden had 9 lives. But what can we say? I mean, Jorden was incredibly resourceful. I mean, hats off to him. You know, he had a terrible position. I mean, his king was out there in the open, but he managed to get it to safety, and he managed to turn it around and get the draw that he so desperately needed.
He did, and well, I mean, Vincent's going to be kicking himself, but it is blitz chess, and that's what makes the show so exciting. And the tactics started to go with this beautiful move, and myself and Jovanka just thought the game was over here. We thought that Jorden would resign, but it shows testament to his resilience that he just held on after that, and somehow, I don't know how he survived this one. I mean, there was pieces everywhere, but now the black king becomes very safe here. The black king's the safer king.
Yeah.
It's all about king safety in chess, and you got to make sure your king is safe. And
ultimately, Vincent just burnt too much time on the clock. We saw him there in that position with just 17 seconds, and that's not very easy to defend when your king is in trouble. And Jorden finding all the tricky moves, and here black had a winning move, but then a few moves later it was white who had turned the tables. Anything could have happened.
I think that's one of the games we've seen so far where literally every move, the evaluation bar was like a roller coaster. It was up, down. It was all over the shop. And at the end here, we saw that Jorden just sneaks his queen in before he gets checkmated to get a draw by perpetual check. That's all he needed, a draw in the position. And there's no way the white king can escape the black queen, but you can't checkmate the black king, the white king even, so it's a draw. I can't even speak after that. It was too exciting, that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Had us on the edge of our seats. And we're going to go over to Sonia, who has an interview with Vincent.
I'm here with Vincent Keymer. Crazy match. How do you feel?
Well, not too good, especially since I'm pretty sure that in the second game I had a win somewhere, but you know, when you're low on the clock and the position is that complicated with both kings being like close to mate, of course a lot of mistakes will surely happen.
2 crazy games. Can you tell us something about the key moments?
Yeah, I mean, in the first game, I think he just blundered this knight f5 idea, after which it should be clearly very bad for him, but he doesn't lose immediately, and I think he also missed the second time queen g3 check, when after king f6 it really feels like I should probably be like completely winning immediately, but again, I didn't see like a way to finish the game immediately, and then it just got very complicated with his king running away and my king suddenly being open as well. And okay, then in the end it was a draw, but I think this is, I mean, I surely have to analyze to exactly know what happened there.
And in the first game?
Yeah, it was, I mean, I know that there's this idea of sacrificing the piece and that actually it should be just a draw if black plays correctly, but probably, I don't know, until when it was correct. I think with queen c8, queen b7, queen b5 probably was still alright, and then shortly after queen c4 it was very bad, probably already before, and I think as soon as you make one mistake in these positions, it's basically lost.
Your tournament is over. What's next?
I'll play in Prague now in a few days, so there's not much time left.
Okay, thank you so much and best of luck. We are going back to the studio to Simon and Jovanka.
Yeah, thank you, Sonia. And we're here in the studio with Jorden, who just won, what can I say, a very entertaining match. Perfect.
Yes, yeah, that was completely crazy. Both games actually, but especially the second one. I thought I played a reasonably good game in the first one. I actually got the only line I prepared today on the board. I mean, I'm not really even sure whether to prepare for these blitz games, but last time Matthias caught me off guard with the Caro-Kann, so I thought I'd prepare some line and it worked out well. But I don't even know where to start with the second game. It was just too many ups and downs, and I felt like I should have lost that game at least 5 times or something like that. I blundered so many things, just to finally not lose that game, it's a miracle.
Yeah, it was. Well, talking about the second game, I mean, how did you feel when you realized that tactic that Vincent came up on the board and then it happened again?
I blundered it twice, you know, it's just not even once. Yeah, the first time was a major shock, second time was a major shock as well, and somehow both times I'm like able to at least not resign on the spot. I mean, of course, my position is completely terrible. But yeah, it was a very unpleasant surprise, certainly. I mean, I've seen this tactic before, but somehow I just missed it twice today, so I guess I should go back to practicing this.
And let's talk about the first game, because you got your preparation in, and it looked amazing, and then you played this bishop move, and we were really impressed by that bishop move. That looked like a lot of fun in that game, and that sort of got you the winning position, I think. So it must have felt good to win a game like that. So.
Yeah, for sure. I wasn't sure whether it was correct or not, but I felt like I was up on clock, and I should just go for it, like all in. You know, if I lose, I lose. But I felt with so little time on the clock, he can easily blunder. Like his king is. There's so many checkmating ideas there, and it was also like too sexy not to play. So yeah.
And talking about emotions, I mean, let's take a look at your heart rate. Well, it got up to 172.
I broke my previous 171. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just by one. But
by
understandably, with that second game, I mean, we just didn't know what was going on, I have to say. I mean, clearly you were losing, but then somehow you were winning, and then you were losing, and it was crazy. So it must be relief, though, now, yeah?
Yeah, no, for sure, major relief. I was sure I was gonna lose the second game, and we were gonna go to Armageddon. And I was, oh no, not again, because every time I'm doing well in the first game, and then the second game, I'm somehow completely like getting out of control, and I'm losing. But somehow I managed to survive today by miracle.
Yeah, it's good. Must have felt good. So how are you going to relax tonight? Are you going to take it easy? Are you going to like celebrate, or what are you thinking?
Well, you do have a game tomorrow before you answer.
Yes.
Yes, but I felt like if I win today, I should celebrate, and if I lose, I should enjoy the final night. So commiserate, yeah. So we'll see, but I might enjoy tonight for a bit.
Yeah.
Good
and looking ahead, tomorrow you'll be facing off against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave. Now, word on the street is that you've been playing a lot of bullet matches or blitz matches.
With Maxime?
With Maxime?
We've been going out a lot to dinners. I don't know. We've been playing some chess, yeah, but.
Yeah.
Oh yes, sorry, my memory is. I remember now. Yes, we played one very long bullet match. So no, we get along very well, and I mean he's a good friend. So
is it hard playing friends, or like, or does it matter at all that you're playing?
You get used to playing like your colleagues, or I mean it's all like your friends, your colleagues, but also your competitors. You have to play them at some point. So at the end, it's just chess, you know. So it doesn't really. Like it doesn't have any influence on your relationship with them. Yeah.
And talk us through your like pre-game routine, because obviously this is a very special tournament and you're playing a very fast pace. Do you have anything?
Yeah, it's a good question. I wasn't really sure how to approach this tournament, or whether to approach it at all in any kind of way, or just to sit on like the couch all day. But generally I try to go out for like a pretty long walk in the morning, then I go for some lunch. I've been going to the gym a little bit as well every day basically. What else? maybe watch some Netflix. So Black Mirror came out. Do like half an hour of preparation, which already feels like a lot for Blitz. But I do a little bit of tactics, like 15 minutes tactics, 15 minutes openings, and then I feel okay. Then the rest is out of my control. But the days go by pretty quickly, I have to say. I'm not bored or something. Also, Berlin is a very nice city to sightsee.
Yeah. What's your highlight of Berlin so far, apart from the chess? Is there anything that you've seen or that you really like, or anything you've eaten that was amazing? Or anyone you've crushed?
There's been a lot of good moments. I don't know if anything particularly stands out. I went for a very long walk to the forgot the exact name, but the East Berlin art wall. Yeah. So that was nice. I was walking in general a lot, not to specific places, but Berlin is a nice city.
Yeah, and of course we have the World Chess Club here.
Yes.
Some very, very impressive chess and some also very impressive food and cocktails. I'm a big fan of the drinks.
I do
here.
like the cocktails.
Do you enjoy the cocktails more than the food?
I haven't tried the food too much, so I'm definitely more acquainted with the cocktails, especially the Capablanca one. Definitely recommend it to anyone passing by the club.
Yeah, if anyone's in Berlin, then they must come to this club. It's very friendly. They have amazing cocktails, so definitely. And well, thanks, Jorden. That was really exciting. So that kept us so much entertained, and you can go enjoy yourself now. So yeah, relax a little bit.
Congratulations and good luck in your next game.
Thanks, Jovanka.
Thanks.
See you guys.
And time to mention our partner Kaspersky. As a technology and digital privacy company, Kaspersky supports the secure advancement of chess in the digital space and its expansion into online tournaments. It's a perfect combination of human excellence and strong technology. What a day, Simon. I mean, it had all the emotions. I mean, you had the heartbreak, obviously, like of Vincent Keymer, you know, losing very narrowly to Jorden, and had so much entertainment. And as well, we saw Donchenko get knocked out of the competition, but also in an emotional way.
Yeah, it's a bad day for the German players, because we saw 2 German players get knocked out. So I don't think there's any more German players left now, unfortunately. But it was the chess gods will be very happy today, because the standard of the chess, the excitement of the chess was another level. As we say in England, it was different gravy. It was really, really exciting. You don't know that saying? No? Oh, really? Different gravy chess. So it was brilliant chess, and Jorden there entertaining so much with that attacking play. And yeah, I mean, that second game, I don't think I've seen a game like that for so long. They're both winning, they're both losing. You know, it was madness at the board, just absolute chaos, and you know, it ended in a crazy draw there. So yeah,
I've actually never seen a game where one side has been in so much trouble with the king and has had to go walkabout and find safety and all the way on the other side of the board, and yet he managed to turn that around. I mean, what resilience and what grit, you know. And I have to say the same for Maxime, you know, also kind of living on the edge but holding his nerve and managing to find those right moves at the right moments. And we have to also express our heartbreak and also our sadness for the 2 Germans who do leave the competition.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who says that chess is not exciting, check out the Armageddon. It was absolutely brilliant today. And here is tomorrow's pairings, and oh my words, they are going to be real crackers of pairings. I mean, what brilliant players we have. We have Jan-Krzysztof Duda, who's played, I would probably say, the best chess so far, but he's playing the unpredictable and also brilliant Rapport, and you just never know with Ricard. He could be absolutely stunning, or if he brings his A game, we could have, you know, well, we're going to have one hell of a match anyway. Then what about the other match, Jovanka?
I know, we have Maxime Vachier-Lagrave playing against his good friend Jorden Van Foreest. And what what I love about these pairings is that you have your quirky, creative players, Richard Rapport, Jorden Van Foreest, who are always looking to trick their opponents in the opening, against people who are just pure aggression and tactics on the chessboard.
Yeah. What would you say you are? Are you more of a like cave woman?
Okay.
Going for the tactics?
This
or are you
is
more...
where I'm split personality. So like when I'm playing over the board chess, like I'm pretty positional, I'm pretty good at strategy. When I'm commentating, my inner demon comes out and it's like, yeah, grab those pawns.
So you're the calm yoga retreat kind of person at the board, but away from the board, you're like, I want to see blood. I want to see some violence on the board.
Exactly, because not my board.
So,
and what about you, Simon?
well, you know, I just play Viking style. That's all I know.
Once a Viking, always a Viking.
Blood, guts, and gore on the board. I love the tactics. That's why I got so excited today, because there was just so many kings dropping all over the place. And Valhalla is going to be a busy place tonight, I think. But it was great. It was great stuff. And you know, make sure you come back tomorrow, everyone, because we're getting near the end of the competition. Let's remember that only 2 players will go through to the grand final. We're going to find that out over the next couple of days, so it's going to be brilliant.
And especially the match between Jan-Krzysztof Duda and Richard Rapport, because whoever wins there is guaranteed a place in the September grand final. And well, we are going to call it a night. We're going to take a breather and
cocktail maybe.
Wish you all a good night, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and see you all tomorrow, same time, same place.
Right.